Yeah, our data's fucked up. Alright, what's going on here? Alright, red, blue, and green. Red, green, and blue. X and Y. So this is supposed to create the image. It's not returning the new values. Alright. So it's like that looks like the wrong data. It is the wrong data. I was returning the original values, which don't take into account the expansion maximizer things, which actually make a humongous difference. So here is our heat and kill map. So that's our kill map. Awesome. Alright, so we can get rid of this trash now. And this is the sort of data that is actually going to be really cool for the Maelstrom dudes, because heat maps for our game aren't necessarily nearly as necessary as theirs are. That's pretty fucking cool, to be honest. Alright, let's see if I can increase the resolution on these pictures, and if that's gonna take like a shit long time. Hello, Shaitan337. I am working on some telemetry heat map stuff for Maelstrom at the moment. Basically I've got their telemetry system running. I made ETL jobs to pull all the data out of the telemetry collection system and put it into a database, and I'm now making stuff that we can visualize for the game. But I think this is good enough. Yeah, I think this is pretty decent. I think I can make the map smaller though, at least. Maybe I can do maybe an 18,000 square as opposed to not an 18,000 square. Maybe I'll get a little bit more juice out of that. Basically, once I get these heat maps to where I want them to be, I'll be pretty close to finished with the guts of this, and then I'll need to go basically set all this stuff up so that it can run automatically. Alright, so obviously we need... It works for the second map, but the first map... I mean, that's the picture they want right there. That's definitely like, hey, here's here's how people are playing your game. You know, if you want to stay alive, stay the hell out of this place. That's where everyone's biting the bucket. Also, there's a little dog up here for some reason. I don't know why. And what looks like a snake over here vomiting up the mystery machine. So the question is, what's a good thing I can throw in here for the sizes? I think it's... Maybe it's these guys. I'll just chuck these in here. And there's probably some better tools for making heat maps than I have. What did I... Okay. Let me think. These heat maps, they go from... Goes from 0 to 1. It goes X, and then it goes Y, right? So, X is going to be on this axis, Y is going to be on this one. Do you use list technique instead of array, or it's incorrectly to say so? Could you please explain how works list and what is it? I'm not exactly sure what your question is, Shaitan, but I can attempt to try. So it looks like the negative in the X direction. We need more negative X. So let's do that. Are you basically asking about using lists as opposed to arrays in Java? Because basically in Java, they kind of wrap all their generics in terms of lists and iterables and crap like that. So the backing data structure could be an array, but you kind of just access it as if it's a list type object. Alright, obviously something's screwed here. It's probably that these two values have to be the same or something. They have to be square. Because I got some screwed up in my calculations. Whatever, we'll just... Yeah, that's right, they have to be the same because when we have a degenerate case in the middle of the map, which is throwing all our data off. Yeah, so Java basically has these generic collections like lists, which allow easier use, same thing of like the STL with array, vectors and all that. Excellent. Well, I think this is more what we want. So that will work excellently. So pretty much it's good practice to use standard collections, especially in languages like Java, because then you don't force other people to use the same collections you are, and you don't have to expose the types and all that sort of stuff. And you can use immutable collections, all sorts of random other shit. I don't really care. I pretty much just use array lists for everything because there's no real reason not to for any other thing. So I'm just using arrays here because of there being primitive types. So collections wrapping primitive types can get a little squirrely. Is there any other information we want to make with the heat map here? I mean, I pretty much just have if people die. Alright, I think that's definitely good enough. So I'm going to need to do the same basic thing that I did for my other stuff, which is all the rest. Excuse me. So I want to know how many kills there were, and I need to build a basic report out of this. So we created the image. Let's just make these guys. So I'm not really sure if I'm answering your question there, Shaitan, but because I'm not sure if I understood it correctly. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to need to do is upload these images to S3 so we can keep them. So what is our credential for this stuff here? So it looks like our credential is going to be S3. We're going to make a new S3 object with our provider. We're going to need a new provider, so that's going to be c.get AWS credentials for. So what compile program is most useful and convenient for you? I see you worked with other programs at the same time in one window. In CloBox, you can't do that. It depends on what language I'm working in. If I'm working in Java, I'm working in Eclipse. If I'm working in C++, I work in Visual Studio. Currently using 2015. Community Edition works fine. If I'm working in HTML or JavaScript or CSS or Python, any scripting languages, I'm usually working in Notepad++. So it really depends. I don't use like one tool. I just use everything all the time, pretty much. Let me pull up my config. I think it's the... I mean, this is our environment for our stuff. Let me take a look. Is it Mail Tools that I'm using? I guess it's Mail Tools that I'm using, so I need to take a look at the Mail Tools config to see what I should be using. There's just too much to remember with all these projects. It's basically impossible. Alright, so it's going to be gunpowder infrastructure dot AWS credential. And I've never used code blocks, so I'm not really even sure what code blocks is. Let me see. Code blocks is an IDE. It supports multiple compilers, including GCC, Clang, Visual C++. It is developed by C++ using WX widgets as a GUI tool. Yeah, I've never used code blocks or anything. I don't know why you would use it. Other than, like, I've never used it professionally. Ew, it also looks like it's from, 2002. It looks like an academic tool, to be honest. I guess. I don't know. It looks super old school. I pity the person who has to use that tool, sir. So I would not want to do that. Alright, let me take a look at my other tools. What am I looking at? Telemetry, heat map tool. So I need to check out a few files here. So let's see, we want tools, telemetry, and then heat maps. Let's see, ACL settings on this, I'm going to set to read. Access is okay. And let's grab a sample heat map and make sure I can actually view this thing online. Access denied. Let's see, ACL settings. Apply to all subfolders and files. Yeah, sorry I don't have much else to contribute there for you. It's not always... I'm just not familiar with those tools, so not much I can really tell you that I think will do too much. Yeah, I want to set the bucket policy on this thing. So I must have set up a distribution here which is allowing this guy to snag this information. Alright, well I'll get the heat maps getting put out onto this place, and then I will get the ACLs right on it. The power heat maps going to GPG Maelstrom dist. Alright, so WD tools, telemetry heat maps, blah blah blah. S3 credentials is going to be AWS gunpowder, AWS. Alright, so I need SES hooked up properly for the Maelstrom AWS so I can send on behalf of myself. Let's go do that. So SES, let's add an email address, verify a new, so I want operations at my thing. We have successfully sent a verification email. I actually need to go to the operations account, don't I? don't even know the password to that thing. I don't know the passwords to any of my things. Mainly because that's not how you're supposed to do things. I don't know the passwords because I've never known the passwords. Alright. Authorized email address for use with Amazon SES and Amazon Pinpoint in region, blah blah blah. Yes, go for it. I am totally fine with that. Verified. Excellent. Alright, so this should be get credential from config. It's going to be telemetry, gunpowder heat maps, dot S3 credential. We'll snag that. Alright. So this is going to be our telemetry, gunpowder heat maps, dot S3 path. Alright, let's go through every level in our levels and snag all the things out of here. So we've got the level name. So we want the pause map. Depth map and the combo map. Alright, so pause file, death file, and combo file, and all those are null. So we have all those files. We'll need the S3 bucket, which is going to be S3 bucket Alright, so that should upload all of our heat maps. Supposedly, right? We need to actually write our image files, though, is what it looks like. So, dunk, dunk, dunk. This will be level dot position image. This will be pause file. So that should upload everything to S3. So, okay, so now uploading all images to S3. Finished uploading all images. So let's see what we can do here. And we pretty much have no events, so what I should do to start with here is just I should run that game data tool, pull all that game data over the last 24 hours into my local database, and I'll be right back. Alright, so it's going to snag all that data that we want. Beautiful data. It's not really beautiful, it's actually pretty obnoxious. Alright, so we're snagging all the information. And we've done all this telemetry work today. Like all this stuff that I'm snagging in here is stuff that I have hooked up today. So let's get that heat map. Get our heat map on here. How come I'm getting .png? This should be death. This should be combo. I guess we don't need a .png on here. Let me look. Yeah, because .png is at the end of it, so just position death and combo is good enough. Alright, I want this, everything inside of this folder to be public so I can send out these emails. Alright, so Maelstrom distribution, everything in tools, heat maps, yeah, everything in here I want to make public. You have everyone will have access, make public. Yeah, let's see. Let's see, what are the properties on this thing? Open, get size, delete, change storage class. Okay, it looks like it worked for adding read access to the heat maps. Alright, so let's get our mailer going on as well. Just going to do something simple with this guy. I'm just going to throw the email up here. And it would be nicer if I actually had a template email for this. Guess I really don't need one. All right, let's get our from config. All right. So what we're going to want to do is basically the HTML, I think, is probably pretty simple. Come on. Copy paste that. So we'll have all these images. Alright. We also want a few statistics, I think, on all of this. We want the number of deaths. Well, let's just run it and see what it is. I'm getting a little tired of working on this stuff. You can tell because I'm starting to cut corners on crap. I'm starting to just be like, eh. I really should be setting up like a templated email thing for this, but I'm just like, I don't want to. So, meh. So it's saying that I don't have the email verified, but I totally do. So maybe I need it verified over in Virginia for SES. Alright, so supposedly that should work now, so let's see if that's true. Pending verification, verified. Totally legit emails. Email is not verified. The following failed in check. What did I have this set as? Recipients. Let's just run this again. Oh, we can actually create email templates. Interesting. Okay, I seem to remember something here. There's something with sending where I have to. Cannot send email to non-verified email SES. Alright, so what is it? Did you do this at the top of the SES dashboard? Your account has sandbox access in the region. With sandbox access, you can only send to that. If so, you need to get out of the... Doesn't mean having another... Alright, so SES... Where is SES home? Where is the sandbox? Where the hell is it? I know there's a... Alright, there it is. With sandbox access, can't find your existing account settings, or your account may be in a different region. Try switching regions in the upper right hand corner. US West. Please request a sending limit increase. All right. Alright, the other one is request a sending limit increase in Oregon. So Oregon, sending quota 200. Alright, so in the meantime, I have to verify my own email address here. So Oregon and Virginia, we're going to need to verify myself. So let's go verify. Yes, that is me, thank you. Are there shadows in game now? More, I mean, you should be able to look at that yourself. I'm not sure what you're asking me about there. Alright, so I should be able to send emails to myself now.